Welcome everybody to Football, the People's Game, and I am your host, Horace. Welcome to the home of footballing analysis. And today we'll be talking about the Manchester United home game against Arsenal later today. And we'll be having some opinions from our popular analyst, Iroko, who is with me on the show today, on some of the things that his coach Amorim had said in regards to that match. And also earlier yesterday, a popular analyst on this show, which is an Arsenal fan, Orlando, had an interview with us yesterday in reactions to that match as well. So Iroko will be reacting to that match with his own opinion on what Orlando has said. So Iroko, welcome to the show, Football, the People's Game.
You're always welcome. Happy New Year.
All right, so you have become very popular on this show, and I think that you are still the most hosted person on this show, and your appearances on the show has become something noticeable. The last time that you were here, you were on black. Yes. And you testified that you were on black because you were mourning Manchester United. And coincidentally, I don't know if you are aware, in today's game, which Man United will be playing against Arsenal, some Manchester United supporters in Manchester has planned on staging a protest, and all of them will be wearing black against the management for their poor mismanagement. I don't know if you were aware of that. you have done your own protest
from the past.
Yeah.
I saw the future.
Okay.
But I was expecting something like this from last season.
From the fans. It's
a nice step up for the fans.
Okay.
And I'm very glad.
Yeah.
I wish I were in England.
You would have been part of the
I would have been the chief protestant.
All right. So today our focus will be on the home game, Manchester United versus Arsenal. Going into that game, Manchester United has lost the first leg away to Arsenal this season. So going into this second leg in the Premier League, Ruben Amorim's side are going into that match tying in the Europa League against Real Sociedad 1-1. And in his interview, he has said that the Europa League is harder than the Champions League, considering the fact that you play on Thursday and then you are playing another match in the Premier League on Sunday. So what do you have to make of that excuse going into today's match against Arsenal from your coach?
Well, he's making those excuses because of fatigue for the players, which is trying to say that the players needed more rests in order to play the next game. Okay. And also, in his logic, he's very right for making that excuses.
Okay.
At least you should have had 4 days rests before your next game. Most especially playing against a bigger opponent compared to Manchester United from currently. Arsenal are miles ahead. So I'm seeing what he's trying to do there, the coach Amorim. So if we lose today, I don't blame the coach, because the unavailability of early players in Manchester United is very low, and the manageable ones we have are in injury, are all injured, whether they are really injured or they are not really willing to play for Manchester United, like the likes of Mason Mount and Luke Shaw. So I know the game will not be that easy for Arsenal.
Okay.
I've said that before. Against them in the FA Cup, they'll play well, but it won't be that easy for them. So today, it won't be that easy for them as well, because I see that high spirit in the players, especially in Zexi. He's trying to prove something.
Okay.
So the players will put up a good fight. I'm seeing that as well.
Okay. So talking about that Manchester United side, earlier this January, they released Marcus Rashford and Anthony as well to Aston Villa and Real Betis respectively, and we didn't see any replacement for these players that were released, and that has really put Ruben Amorim in a very tight corner in terms of squad selection. If you see, they have been depending on Ahmad, which is currently injured and won't be coming back maybe later in the season, right?
It's out of the season.
All right, out of the season. And now you see that Man United have no any other option than to rely on Garnacho and Zexi and Højlund at that front line. And we have not been seeing these electrifying performances from these three players. If you look at Manchester United in the old days, where you have Louis Nani, Ryan Giggs, Tevez, and the likes of them, Rooney. Yes. You know, you have squad depth that you can select from, and these players are players that push themselves to the limit in terms of giving in performances week in and week out. So calling us Rasmus Højlund, in the last 10 games or more, he has been unable to find the back of the net. So what would you have to say about that? You know, having Rasmus Højlund starting in the front line for a club like Manchester United, and in over 10 games, you have been unable to find the back of the net. So can anything good come out of such a front line for Manchester United?
Well, when these injuries came in after Anthony and Marcus Rashford left Manchester United, I think a good management will bring them back in, despite their performances, because currently Anthony and Rashford are much better than the available front three we have currently Manchester United. You've seen that happened at Chelsea, where they went in to call in Chalobah from loan. I thought the same thing might or would happen in Manchester United, but nothing like that happened. But to Højlund's performance this season, he has been very, very off the expectation we've been trying to get from him. I think he has fallen off. He has lost the support of the fans and the trust from the fans. In such cases, he's very young. In such cases, I think he should have been sent on loan at least a year or half a year, to at least make him build up his ability, or be sent under a good striker. We have good strikers in Berbatov. They are one touches and visions in scoring goals. We have the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic and so on. At least all these players that have retired, these strikers that have retired, you send him under their care. They will teach him what to do. He lacks the ability of connecting with his midfielders and wingers. That's the only thing he needed. The ability to open to space, create chances for passes to come in. He hardly gets through passes. That's his problem, because he's not creating the chances for through passes. He's always struggling with defenders, which is what defenders likes. So he needs to go on loan, not to be sold.
All right. So going into today's game, Manchester United versus Arsenal, Orlando, which is an analyst on our show here, and who is an Arsenal fan, was hosted on this show yesterday, and he has made a very bold prediction that Manchester United would have nothing to offer in today's game, and that Arsenal would win 2-0. So what would you have to say in reactions to that?
Well, that's a bold step from Orlando.
Okay.
I watched where he said currently Manchester United are the babies for when it's against Arsenal. And this season we've knocked them out of the FA Cup, and they won us only once this season. So that's a big tie when it comes to Manchester United and Arsenal. And today, the prediction from me, Manchester United is winning this game.
What will be your prediction?
With 2 goals.
To what?
To 2 goals. No, because if Onana is on the goal line, that would be a 2-1 game. Because they were getting a clean sheet from a game against Arsenal.
Okay.
But Manchester United are winning the game today.
Okay.
Yes, that's a bold statement from me.
All right.
And I'm very, very confident in that.
All right. Yes. So also, if you listen to the Orlando interview, he has praised Mikel Arteta, that Mikel Arteta has been the best thing that has happened to Arsenal post Wenger. and he has said that if you look at his analysis,
Yes.
it can prove that he is right, because he said that since Arsene Wenger left, Arsenal has really struggled in going into the European competition. But under Mikel Arteta, that consistency was back. And he has said that Arsenal are one of the tough sides that other opponents are afraid to face, considering their performances and how they have been consistent. The only thing that is missing from that Arsenal squad is just that silverware, but anything can happen. So he reacted to one of your interviews where you said that you believe that Arsenal could possibly win the UEFA Champions League because miracle happens. And he said that Arsenal can go all the way if really they can keep up with the performance they have put in, especially winning PSV 7-1 in the first leg round of 16. And that is a bold message, because if they should progress, likely their opponents would be Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid, and also Liverpool and other bigger teams. So if Arsenal should really go further and then upset either Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid or Liverpool and finds themselves in the Champions League final, they could possibly win it just like Chelsea did in 2012. And after saying that about the Champions League, he went further to say that Arsenal has consistently ended second in the Premier League 2 times consecutively, and currently this season they are still on the second spot. So if they end this season second, it will be 3rd time in a row that they ended second without winning the trophy, which will be a history in Premier League. But he has made a bold statement that if Arsenal can consistently end thrice in the Premier League, then next season he assures everyone that it will be their season. So what do you have to say in reactions to all this analysis from Orlando?
He said Arteta has been the best thing that happened to them since Wenger left.
Mm-hmm.
I will draw him to Chelsea and Manchester United coaches past their previous coaches that seem to be their legends.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start from Manchester United, which was
Ferguson.
Mm-hmm. Since Ferguson left, we've had the likes of Mourinho, Ole Gunnar, David Moyes, Van Gaal,
Ralf Rangnick,
Erik ten Hag, and currently Amorim. When Mourinho came, he won the Europa League and some of the domestic cups. Same with Van Gaal, some of the domestic cups. Erik ten Hag, some of the domestic cups, which are the FA Cup and the Carling Cup. One against Manchester City and Newcastle. Ole Gunnar went to series of finals. He ended in the top 4, I think twice. Second position twice, I think. In his final season when he was sacked, he was still in the top 4. Alongside with Chelsea, Mourinho won them series of trophies, but still got sacked. Let's bring it to Thomas Tuchel. In the season before he was sacked, he won them the Super Cup and Club World Cup, and still got sacked. So this, in essence, I'm trying to say that Arsenal are a club that settles for a mediocrity. Yes, Arteta in 6 seasons have not won anything, and you said he's the best thing that has happened to Arsenal. With the squad depth you have, you give that squad to Jose Mourinho, Conte, Ancelotti, or Klopp, you see what they will do with these squads. I've always been saying this: Arsenal, Arteta is not the man for Arsenal. They should go for a quality and a top coach. Bring any quality and top coach in with this squad. You see the miracles that will happen. So I don't think Arteta is not the best thing that happened to Arsenal since Arsene Wenger left.
Okay.
Then in regards to the Champions League, so far this is not their best time performing like this in the Champions League. last season, see what has been happening before they got knocked out by Sporting Lisbon in the crucial minute of the time. And then this season, they will play everything right from the time of Thierry Henry. They've been playing well in the Champions League. I think when it comes to good performances in the Champions League, Arsenal is the best team in EPL, but there's no trophy to boast about that. So miracle happens. They might win. I will celebrate with them because yes, if they win, I'll celebrate with them because they are my team from the EPL. So I will celebrate with them to give EPL a boost. You know, other clubs, other leagues like La Liga and Serie A, the boost of having more Champions League compared to EPL. So if they win the Champions League, I'll be very, very happy with them. But I don't think they'll go past Real Madrid if they are being drawn.
Okay.